What's going on, guys? My name is Richard, and welcome back to another weekly watchlist video sponsored by MarketSmith. As always, we'll talk about the fundamentals and technicals of all the stocks on my focus list, and if you enjoy my analysis, please go ahead and leave a like down below. It really does help me out and my channel, and subscribe if you're new and looking forward to more videos just like this one. And diving right in, we'll start with BRP and taking a look at the earnings and sales. You can see excellent growth here. Last quarter earnings up over 900%, sales up 55%, and return on equity up 45.7%. And there's a lot of growth expected in 2020, up 433%. And in 2021, the annual EPS estimates are up a further 69%, with the revisions up as well. The EPS rating is an 84, the Group RS is a D, SMR rating is a B, accumulation distribution A+, and the overall composite rating is a 98. You've got an increasing trend in the number of funds, and taking a look at the chart, you can see that it's a potential high tight flag and has pulled back to that key 21 EMA. And as for the entry setup, let's go to the chart in TC2000, and you can see that I've drawn in this downward trend line, so that would be my first entry point, or potentially a green dot early next week if it continues to move up after this positive expectation breaker on Friday. And overall, I like how it's held the 21 EMA throughout this entire move and hasn't given that much back after this long run. So that's BRP, and next up we've got CrowdStrike. And you can see that earnings and revenue growth is fantastic. Last quarter earnings up 125%, sales up 84%, return on equity was down 0.7%, but taking a look at the annual EPS estimates, you can see there's a lot of growth expected in 2022, up 257%. The EPS rating is a 78, the Group RS is a B, SMR rating is a D, accumulation distribution is a B, and the composite rating is a 93. And you've got an increasing trend in the number of funds, especially a big jump in from this quarter to this quarter, and you have one high quality fund in there as well. And looking at the chart, you can see that it's pulling back from this big move up here, but the RS line is basing along with the price. And as for the entry setup, what I would use is a break above the short-term pivot at a high of 134.05. And if I was using a buy stop, I would put it 10 cents above the pivot at 134.15. So that was CrowdStrike, and next up we've got EXPI. And taking a look at the earnings and sales, you can see last quarter it had an extremely strong performance. Earnings up 436%, sales up 137%, and return on equity up 35.7%. And taking a look at the annual estimates, you can see in 2020 it's supposed to increase 158%, and in 2021 a further 12%, with the revisions up as well. EPS rating is a 44, the Group RS is an A-, SMR rating is an A, accumulation distribution is a B-, and the overall composite rating is a very strong 97. And you can see a nice increasing trend in the number of funds, and you have 3 high quality funds in there as well. And taking a look at the chart, you can see it is below the key 50-day moving average, but it's been tightening up and looks like it's forming the bottom of this short-term base right here with some nice upside reversals signaling that change in trend. And taking a look at the chart, the entry point that I would pick is either a move up through the 21 EMA after this green dot setup right here, or potentially a break through this pivot at 118.20. And overall, I wouldn't be building up my position too much until it breaks through that 50-day moving average. So that was EXPI, and next up we've got XP World Holdings. And taking a look at the earnings and sales, you can see last quarter it was up 375%, sales up 33%, and return on equity up 13.6%. You can see that it's just supposed to be profitable in 2020, and it's supposed to get a big boost in 2021, up 61%, with the revisions up as well. The EPS rating is a 78, the Group RS is a B+, SMR rating is a C, accumulation distribution is an A+, and the overall composite rating is a 97. You can see a nice increasing trend in the number of funds, but you do not have any high quality funds investing into this stock. And overall, you can see it's increased dramatically over the past few months and is a potential high tight flag. And taking a look at the chart more in depth in TC2000, you can see that it broke through the green line here, which is a strong sign. And this was a very long-term base and has increased dramatically from that point and has only given back about 23%. So as for an entry, I would use a break of this downward trend line, or potentially a green dot, or eventually a break of this pivot right here at 44.68, and eventually the standard pivot above the high of this flagpole, which is 46.58. So that's XP, and next up we've got Fiverr. And overall, looking at the earnings and sales, you can see decent revenue growth. Last quarter earnings were up 163%, sales up 82%, but return on equity was down 3.1%. And in 2020, you can see that the EPS is just supposed to be profitable, but in 2021, it's supposed to get a big boost up 232%, with the revisions up as well. The EPS rating is a 68, the Group RS an A-, the SMA rating is a C, accumulation distribution B+, and the overall composite rating is a 98. And you can see an increasing trend in the number of funds, and you have 2 high-quality funds in there as well. And taking a look at the chart, you can see it's been riding those moving averages up, and this is another potential high-tide flag, and the price has been going sideways along with the RS line. And as for the chart, I want to see a breakout into all-time highs above first this pivot right here at 126.33, and then above this one at 131.39. Next up, we've got NARI Medical Inc. And taking a look at the earnings and sales, you can see excellent revenue growth. Last quarter sales up 152%, return on equity up 1%. And taking a look at the annual estimates, you can see it's not supposed to be profitable within the next 2 years. The EPS rating is only a 20. The Group RS is a B+. The SMA rating is a C. Accumulation distribution is a C-. And the overall composite rating is only a 67. And taking a look at the fund ownership, you can see that there's already 157 funds in this stock, and you have 4 high-quality funds, which is telling investing into this stock. And taking a look at the chart, you can see it's a little bit wide and loose, but it's trending down to the 50-day moving average, and overall the RS line is pretty much acting in accordance with the price, and the overall rating is a 90. And as for the entry setup, I want to see a bounce off the 50-day moving average on volume, and then I want to see it take out this pivot right here at 80.40, and also eventually I want to see it move up into all-time highs above 84.91. So that was NARI, and next up we've got NIO, and overall you can see there's not much growth here except for last quarter. Sales were up 140%, and you can see it's not supposed to be profitable within the next 2 years. The EPS rating is only a 57, the Group RS an A+, the SMA rating is a D, accumulation distribution is an A, and the overall composite rating is a 97. And you can see a nice increasing trend in the number of funds, but you do not have any high-quality funds investing into this stock. And taking a look at the chart, you can see that after this quick move up, it's been basing, going sideways, and the RS line has actually been increasing over the past few days, and the overall RS rating is a very strong 99. And as for the entry setup, I want to see a breakout above the short-term pivot right here at 2025, and eventually a breakout into all-time highs above 21.05. So that is NIO, and next up we've got PINS, which will break out at some point, or it will roll over. But taking a look at the earnings and sales, you can see there's not much growth the past 2 quarters, but you have this huge earnings gap up because they talked about suggesting that monetization will increase in the future. And overall, looking at the annual EPS estimates, you can see they're supposed to get a big boost in 2021, up 999%, and the revisions are up as well. And the EPS rating is a 13, the Group RS is an A, the SMA rating is a C, accumulation distribution is an A-, and the overall composite rating is an 80. You can see a nice increasing trend in the number of funds, and you do have 2 high-quality funds investing into this company as well. And taking a look at the chart, you can see it's been basing and going sideways with a few false breakouts, and the RS line has been basing on with the price, and it is at a new all-time high as of this past Friday. So that is PINS, and as for the entry setup, I want to see a breakout above the short-term pivot at 37.90, and then I would add as it breaks out into all-time highs above 39.64. So that was PINS, and next up we've got SailPoint Tech Holdings, and overall looking at the earnings and sales, you can see excellent growth here. Last quarter earnings were up 999%, sales up 47%, and return on equity up 9%. And looking at the annual estimates, you can see in 2020 it is supposed to decrease 50%, but it's supposed to recover in 2021. The overall EPS rating is a 99, the Group RS is a B, SMA rating is a B, accumulation distribution is a B, and the overall composite rating is a 98. And looking at the fund ownership, you can see it's pretty much flat over the past 2 years, but you do have 1 high-quality fund investing into this company. And overall, looking at the chart, you can see it is a power earnings gap up, and it's been holding up nicely as the overall market has been correcting. And as for the entry point, you could buy it off a green dot early next week, or as it moves above this pivot at 39.24, or this one above 39.50. So that is sale, and next up we've got Boston Beer Company, or SAM. And overall, last quarter, it had very strong performances. You can see earnings were up 116%, sales up 42%, and return on equity up 18.2%. You can see in 2020, it's supposed to increase 45% in terms of annual EPS, and a further 39% in 2021. The EPS rating is a 78, the Group RS is an A, SMA rating is an A, accumulation distribution is a B+, and the overall composite rating is a 99. And you've got a nice increasing trend in the number of funds and a whole bunch of high-quality funds in there as well. And so far, it's been pretty much going sideways for the past few weeks, few months, and the RS line has been basing along with the price, but it is at new all-time highs as of this past Friday, with the overall RS rating at 97. And as for the technicals, I want to see a breakout above 897.50, and I like how it's been holding the 50-day moving average and is now back above the 21 EMA and had this nice upside reversal on volume this past Friday. Next on the list, we've got C Limited, and overall looking at the earnings and sales, you can see it's not yet profitable, but does have triple-digit revenue growth the past 4 quarters. And you can see it's not supposed to be profitable within the next 2 years. The EPS rating is only a 22, the group RS is an A, SMA rating is a D, accumulation distribution is a B-, and the overall composite rating is an 80. And taking a look at the fund ownership, you can see a nice increasing trend, and you do have one high-quality fund investing into the company. And taking a look at the chart, you can see that the RS line is basing along with the price, and so far it's holding that key 21 EMA and didn't even fall back to the 50-day. And as for the entry setup, I want to see a breakout above this pivot right here at 151.24, or potentially a green dot or other dot entry early next week. And eventually I do want to see it challenge those previous all-time highs at 165.23. So that was SE, and next up we've got Tesla. And overall looking at the earnings and sales, you can see decent growth here. Last quarter earnings up 300%, sales were down 5%, but return on equity was up 18.8%. And taking a look at the annual EPS estimates, you can see in 2020 it's up 999% and a further 62% in 2021. The EPS rating is a 78, the group RS is an A+, the SMA rating is a C, accumulation distribution is a B+, and the overall composite rating is a 99. And you've got a nice increase in the number of funds and for high quality funds as well. And taking a look at the chart, you can see it's moved up well since it's bounced off the 50-day moving average. And so far, the RS line is moving up as the overall market is moving down. And as for the entry setup, I want to see a breakout above the short-term pivot at 461.94 and eventually a challenge above all-time highs at 502.49. Next on the list, we've got VSTO, and taking a look at the earnings and sales, you can see excellent growth here. Last quarter earnings up 738%, sales up 4%, and return on equity up 9%. And you can see that there's a lot of growth expected in 2021, up 700%, but it is supposed to decrease 11% in 2022. The EPS rating is a 78, the group RS is an A+, the SMA rating is a D, accumulation distribution is a B, and the overall composite rating is a 97. And over the past 2 years, you can see that the number of funds is pretty much flat. You do not have any high quality funds investing into this stock. And overall, looking at the chart, I like how it's been finding support at the 50-day and overall has been on a huge tear and uptrend since this base right here. So as for the entry setup, I want to see a breakout above this pivot right here at 20.04 and eventually this pivot as well above 20.93. And you could also use a green dot setup early next week as it pulls through the 21 EMA. So that is VSTO, and last up on the list, we've got Zoom. And overall, you can see excellent growth here. Last quarter earnings up 999%, sales up 355%, and return on equity up 45.1%. And in terms of annual EPS, you can see in 2021, they're supposed to grow 614% and a further 8% in 2022. The EPS rating is a 78, the group RS is an A, SMA rating is an A, accumulation distribution is a B+, and the overall composite rating is a 99. You can see a nice increasing trend in the number of funds and one high quality fund in there as well. And as for the chart, you can see it had that huge earnings gap up and then it faded a little bit. But since then, it's been moving up strongly and the RS line is at new all-time highs. And as for the technicals, I want to see a breakout above new all-time highs, above 478 flat. So that's my plan for Zoom. And overall, this is one of my top 3 setups along with Tesla and also pins. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys in future videos.